Morris Johnson sits alone in a darkened apartment, Poddy's head resting on his lap, both staring at 5 framed photographs on the wall, his fallen team. The hook establishes immediate emotional weight through Morris's internal monologue. I can still hear the whistle of the RPG. I can still smell the burning metal. But what I can't hear anymore are their voices. Welcome to Mr. Bryan's Tale, where every story takes you on an unforgettable journey. Whether it's thrilling adventures, heartwarming moments, or tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, this is your destination for captivating storytelling. If you love getting lost in exciting narratives and discovering new worlds with every video, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, so you never miss out on the next amazing tale. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Smith. Morris's voice cracked on the name. Sandra Jones' son. The boy she'd shown him pictures of during late-night guard duties, talking about soccer games and science projects instead of the war around them. Yes, sir. The boy stood straighter, tried to mirror military bearing he'd probably seen in photographs. Your mother? Sandra was... Morris couldn't finish. The words tangled in his throat like razor wire. She died saving her team, Smith said simply. That's what the letter said. But I want to know the real story. The one soldiers tell each other. Morris should have closed the door. Should have protected this kid from the brutal truth of what happened. But Poddy made the decision for him. The dog walked forward and pressed his nose against Smith's hand, tail wagging slowly. Smith's face lit up. This is Poddy? Mom wrote about him in her emails. She said he was the best soldier in the unit. Despite everything, Morris felt something crack inside his chest. Not breaking. Opening. How did you find me? Morris asked. Mom's letters. She wrote my address on everyone, and I found yours on the envelopes. Smith looked up with determination that reminded Morris painfully of Sandra. I need to know about her. Really know. Not the hero stuff they tell at memorials. The real stuff. Morris wanted to refuse. Wanted to send this kid home before the darkness inside him infected someone else. But Poddy sat beside Smith, looking at Morris with those intelligent brown eyes that seemed to say, "This is why we survived. You should come back tomorrow," Morris heard himself say. "I'll make coffee. Hot chocolate for you." Smith smiled. "Yes, sir." Smith returned the next morning at exactly 0900 hours. Morris found himself smiling at the boy's punctuality. Sandra had been fanatical about timeliness. They sat in Morris's kitchen, Poddy stationed between them like a bridge. Morris pulled out a photo album he hadn't opened in months. His hands shook as he turned the pages. "Your mother," Morris began, "was the toughest sergeant I ever served with. She once carried a wounded soldier 3 miles through enemy territory, refused to leave him behind." Smith leaned forward, hungry for every detail. She had this laugh. Morris continued, the memories flooding back, loud and completely inappropriate during briefings. Made everyone crack up even when we were terrified. What was she scared of? Smith asked quietly. Morris paused. Honesty. The kid deserved honesty. Letting people down. She worried constantly about you, whether she was being a good enough mother from thousands of miles away. She recorded videos for your birthday, your graduation, your wedding, just in case. Tears welled in Smith's eyes, but he didn't look away. Did it hurt? No. Morris lied, then reconsidered. I don't know. It happened fast. The RPG hit our vehicle. She pushed me out before the secondary explosion. Poddy dragged me to cover. I tried to go back for her, but... His voice failed. Poddy rested his head on Morris's knee. She saved you so you could come home, Smith said with a wisdom beyond his years. That's what heroes do. For the first time since the ambush, Morris felt something besides guilt. Purpose flickered like a distant light. This boy needed him. Maybe surviving wasn't a punishment after all. On Smith's 5th visit, he brought a crumpled envelope. His hands trembled as he placed it on Morris's table. I wasn't supposed to take this from Mom's desk, but I didn't understand it. I thought maybe you could explain. Morris opened the official VA letterhead. His blood turned to ice as he read. After careful review, your claim for death benefits has been denied. The incident in question has been classified as non-combat related. Non-combat related? Morris's voice rose. Sandra died in a direct enemy engagement. Smith flinched. Morris immediately softened his tone, but rage burned in his chest. When did you receive this? 3 months ago. We had to move to a smaller apartment. Mom's pension isn't enough. Morris's mind raced. Sandra's mother was raising Smith alone on a waitress's income. Benefits should have been automatic, substantial, immediate. This is wrong, Morris said firmly. Your mother was a combat casualty. You're entitled to full benefits, education assistance, health care. This is a mistake. Mr. Morris? Smith's voice was small. Is someone trying to make us forget about Mom? The question pierced Morris's heart. Here was a child worried that his mother's sacrifice meant nothing to the people she'd served. No, Morris promised. I'm going to fix this. That night, Morris made his first phone call in 6 months to his former commanding officer, then to Sandra's unit chaplain, then to 3 other Gold Star families he remembered from memorial services. The pattern emerged quickly. 8 families, 8 denials, 8 combat deaths reclassified as non-combat by the same VA official, Deputy Director Marcus Webb. Morris felt something he hadn't experienced since the ambush. Purpose. The system had an enemy, and Morris knew how to fight. Morris's apartment transformed into a command center. Charts covered the walls. 8 Gold Star families became 12, then 17. Each case followed the same pattern. Legitimate combat deaths reclassified to save money. Denials signed by Deputy Director Webb. Appeals buried in bureaucratic labyrinths. Smith visited after school, watching Morris work with quiet intensity. Poddy sensed a change in his handler, the warrior emerging from the depressed shell. You're like Mom now, Smith observed one afternoon, fighting for people. Morris looked up from his laptop. Your mom fought with honor. I'm just trying to match that. The breakthrough came from an unlikely source, a whistleblower named Janet Reeves, a VA case manager disgusted by what she'd witnessed. She provided Morris with internal emails proving Webb had established denial quotas to meet budget targets. Combat deaths were deliberately misclassified. Families were being systematically defrauded. This is bigger than I thought, Morris told Smith. This isn't just about your mom. It's about hundreds of families. So, what do we do? Smith asked. We go to war, Morris said. The right way. Congressional hearings, media exposure, legal action. Morris contacted a veterans advocacy organization and an investigative journalist. Within 2 weeks, the story broke nationally. VA official denies benefits to fallen heroes' families. Deputy Director Webb was suspended pending investigation. But Morris knew suspension wasn't enough. The families needed their benefits restored, and the system needed fundamental reform. Senator Patricia Moreno's office called. Commander Johnson, we'd like you to testify before the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. Will you? Morris looked at Smith, who nodded encouragement. Poddy sat at attention, ready for the mission. Absolutely, Senator. The Senate hearing room felt both enormous and suffocating. Morris sat at the witness table in his dress uniform. 17 Gold Star family members seated behind him. Smith sat in the front row, wearing his mother's dog tags. Poddy rested at Morris's feet, wearing his service vest. Senator Moreno opened the proceedings. Commander Johnson, please tell us what you discovered. Morris's hands didn't shake. Not anymore. Senators, I survived an RPG ambush that killed 5 American heroes. For months, I believed survival was my punishment. I was wrong. I survived to speak for those who can't. He detailed the systematic denial scheme, presenting emails, policy documents, and family testimonies. The room fell silent, except for occasional gasps of outrage. Sergeant Sandra Jones saved my life, Morris continued, his voice steady. She pushed me from a vehicle seconds before it exploded. She died so I could come home. And the United States government thanked her by denying her son the benefits she earned with her blood. Smith wiped tears but sat tall, proud. Deputy Director Webb isn't the disease. He's a symptom. We need structural reform, oversight, and accountability. These families deserve justice. The testimony lasted 3 hours. By the end, Senator Moreno's face was set in grim determination. Commander Johnson, this committee will ensure comprehensive reform. You have my word. 6 months later, the Veterans Dignity Act passed unanimously. Webb faced federal charges. All 17 families received full benefits retroactively. Morris became director of a new veterans advocacy organization. Smith thrived, knowing his mother's legacy was protected. Poddy received the Medal of Courage for saving Morris twice, once in combat, once from despair. At the memorial dedication, Morris finally understood grief transformed into purpose isn't betrayal. It's the highest honor. 2 years later, Morris stood before a bronze memorial statue in Arlington National Cemetery. The sculpture depicted a soldier kneeling beside a military working dog, hand resting on the animal's head, a tribute to unbreakable bonds forged in fire. Sandra Jones's name was engraved on the memorial wall, along with Martinez, Chin, Williams, and Okafor. But they weren't just names anymore. Through Smith's eyes, Morris had learned to see them as they truly were. Heroes whose sacrifice demanded action, not just mourning. Smith, now 11, stood beside Morris in a junior ROTC uniform. He'd started a program at his school called Remember and Serve, where students volunteered at veterans' homes and collected supplies for deployed troops. Mom will be proud of you, Morris told the boy. She'd be proud of you too, Commander, Smith replied. You didn't just survive. You made it mean something. Poddy, graying around the muzzle but still alert, sat between them. The old war dog had become a certified therapy animal, visiting VA hospitals weekly. Soldiers who couldn't speak their pain somehow found words when Poddy rested his head in their laps. Morris's phone buzzed, another Gold Star family reaching out for help. The work never stopped, but now Morris welcomed it. Every case was a chance to honor the fallen by protecting those they left behind. Ready to go home? Morris asked Smith. Yes, sir, but we're coming back next month, right? For the anniversary? Absolutely. We'll always come back. As they walked toward the parking lot, Poddy leading the way with the confidence of a warrior who'd found his peace, Morris realized something profound. He hadn't just survived the ambush. He'd survived the after. And in doing so, he'd learned the most important lesson of all. Grief is the price of love. But what you do with that grief, that's the measure of honor. The system tried to bury heroes in bureaucracy. A broken commander and a loyal dog refused to let that happen. And a little boy reminded them both what courage really means. Showing up even when you're terrified. Smith looked up at Morris. Same time next week? I want to hear more stories about Mom. Morris smiled, a real smile, the kind that reaches eyes. I'll be there. I promise. Behind them, the memorial caught the afternoon sun, gleaming like a beacon. 5 names. Countless lives saved because one man chose to transform his pain into purpose. The war had taken everything from Morris Johnson. But a boy, a dog, and a mission had given him something back, a reason to keep fighting. Not on a battlefield, but for something even more important. The truth that heroes never truly die, as long as someone stands up and speaks their names. What would you do if you discovered a system was betraying those who sacrificed everything for their country? Would you fight back like Morris, or would the weight of your own pain keep you silent? Have you ever experienced survivor's guilt, whether from a tragedy, an accident, or simply been the one who made it when others didn't? How did you cope? Share your story in the comments below. Do you think animals like Poddy have a unique ability to heal human trauma? Have you witnessed the power of the human-animal bond in your own life, or in someone you know? If you could honor one person who changed your life, living or deceased, what would you do to ensure their legacy lives on? Would you build a memorial, start a foundation, or something else entirely? Morris transformed his grief into advocacy. What cause would you fight for if you had unlimited courage and resources? Veterans' rights? Child welfare? Environmental protection? Tell us what fires you up. What did this story teach you about the true meaning of survival? Is it just about staying alive, or is there something more? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if the story moved you. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that their pain can have purpose. Drop a comment telling us, what's your definition of true courage? This is Mr. Bryan Tales, where every story reminds you that heroes aren't born. They're forged in the fires of adversity. And sometimes the greatest battles are the ones we fight after we come home. See you in the next story. Stay strong. Stay purposeful. Stay human. Dedicated to all the military working dogs and their handlers who serve with honor, and to the Gold Star families who carry on with courage.